you know, truth be told, I would be remiss if I didn't also share about this time period. South Bronx, the South Bronx, the South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx. Yeah, it was very nostalgic. I had sitting on one of these. I mean, if you look at the thumbnail to my video, it's like, what is that? Well, that is the top of a desk similar to one that I used to sit on when I was a youth, when I was younger. And when I became aware of this song called South Bronx, performed by Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One, and DJ Scott LaRock. It was a special time period. Special time period. No doubt about that. You know, New York City, I mean, back then we're talking about the Reagan era. Things were crazy, had Mayor Koch as a mayor. Reagan was president. Crime was at an all-time high. Drug abuse was at an all-time high. You're talking about poverty. It was insane. Insane. So naturally, I gravitated towards listening to music and a variety of music, good music, soulful music. Then I discovered, somehow, some way, I discovered hip hop. And, one of the first songs that I was exposed to through the radio when I had some form of awareness was this South Bronx song by KRS-One. And that time was a time of very deep sadness, in the streets, These desks, most of the desks in the school that I went to were like that. That's the type of, graffiti riddled, scratched up desks that we used, to write on top of. But, you couldn't take away the rhythm and the pulse of the people, the pulse of the street, the pulse from the people who were at the bottom. You're talking about those who had nothing, and coming up and having the will to survive and overcome adversity, overcome trials and tribulations, and fight through the drama, fight through the problems, fight through the depression, fight through the misery. And the airways, we were blessed with good tunes, whether it was rock and roll, whether it was top 40, whether it was Caribbean, Latin, again, popular music. In New York, the streets were bubbling with this thing called hip hop, rap. And KRS-One graced us with, and so did Scott LaRock, graced us with the South Bronx. People used to use Walkmans. Walkmans with tape cassette players, and used to just try to record on a cassette, Maxwell or TDK 60-minute cassette tape to try to listen to their favorite radio show and catch whatever music hour or mix that a DJ was playing. And you'd be the popular kid if you caught a good hour or 90-minute show uninterrupted. You got to press the play and the pause button a certain time, so you would have the whole full set, no interruptions. You had to be skilled with the press play and record at the same time, or the pause button just at the right time. Nostalgic times. Because the minute you stepped outside of the paradigm of music or the paradigm of hip hop, because hip hop actually was painting the tapestry of reality. In those days, it was just mirroring what was actually happening in real life through music, through that type of expression. And it was real, man. Young kids selling drugs, young kids, 13, 14 years old, driving expensive cars, wearing mink coats, making more money than adults would make in a year. Kids would make in a day. No exaggeration. And some of these same kids I've seen come, and I've seen some of these kids go. And not just go by getting locked up, but go by getting murdered. Never hear from him again. And the grapevine would be in the streets. We would find out that so-and-so, got killed messing with the drugs, dropping out of school early. Kids who had promising opportunities, who were gifted, being caught by the grips of the streets. It was very, very real. Very, very real. Talking about 12, 13, 14-year-olds leaving school to go sell drugs, wearing the finest clothes. Back then it was, sheepskin or mink coats with matching hats. Everything would just be so expensive. Whatever bomber jackets they had would have to be the latest top of the line. Whatever that was hot is whatever that was as far as fashion, that was the latest. They needed to have it. They would get it and wear it. And how they would earn it, make no mistake, was by selling drugs and getting their hands dirty in the streets. South Bronx, the South Bronx at this time, many tenement buildings were evacuated. They would say that landlords would burn the buildings and claim the insurance money and not rebuild the property. They would just take off with the insurance money and go elsewhere. The stories about kids jumping on top of mattresses is true. As far as entertainment, they would jump on top of mattresses in open fields of trash. It's true. Crack vials. Back then it was vials with different color tops. Different color tops. Bottle opening colored, had different color tops with the note which drug crew was responsible for selling different colors. Oh, it was crazy. The pimps, the junkies, the pushers. Oh, it was crazy. But the South Bronx, tunes like the South Bronx and other tunes during that time period helped you go by. Help gave us a way out for some of us. To dream for bigger, to dream for better opportunities, to dream to get up out of the muck and mire of what was the reality back then. A lot of reminiscing hard. A lot of times, a lot of good times. though. Even though there was some crazy times, but a lot of the times were good though. But it was rough. I'm actually going to continue to expound in more detail about some of this, because this is stuff that shouldn't be forgotten if you care. Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, and as usual, be well.